Hey everybody. Today, before making my second lesson, I wanted to read over two of the three little pig stories that got submitted to me from our assignment that we went over yesterday. I want to thank the students who are participating. I know things feel a bit different right now, and they are going to feel a bit different for a little while, but I think the cool thing, reading your assignments and kind of reading through your Three Little Pig stories last night, something that was awesome to me was how normal it felt, kind of getting your assignments and seeing that creativity that I've seen throughout this school year. Students, I'm planning on uploading all of my videos to this channel. So if this is something that you'd be interested in following this year and seeing lessons like this is something you'd be interested in following, feel free to hit the subscribe button. When we are, finally able to get back in the classroom, I think I am going to continue to try to digitize my lessons like this and continue to upload videos to this channel. So definitely feel free to subscribe if this is something that interests you. I do really appreciate all the comments and responses that I've gotten so far. It's something I absolutely will continue to try to upload videos like this every week. So without further ado, I've picked two stories to read. Let me see if I can take a drink of this orange mango spindrift real quick. All right. So the first Three Little Pigs story, from a new perspective, this is from Serenity. I was at home with my wife and she was very sick and we needed a doctor fast. Now, I'm a wolf, and people don't like us in particular because a lot of us eat pigs because, well, that's what we do. We're carnivores, and what we eat is not our fault. But here's the kicker. My wife and I are vegetarian. We don't even eat pigs. I needed to make a phone call to the doctor fast, but we didn't have a phone, and it was a medical emergency. I went to our neighbor. When we got there, when I got there, it was made of straw. Now, who would build a house of straw? Wouldn't a stove just burn down the house the moment it came on? Now, there was a lot of dust in the house because of all the straw. I knocked once and got no answer. So I called, Mr. or Miss Pig, are you in? No answer. Then suddenly I got the feeling that I had to sneeze from all the dust. I tried to hold it in, I sniffed, I huffed, and I sneezed loud, and the whole house fell over. I was going to call the cops, but again, no phone. I needed medical attention now, not only for my wife, but the pig that I thought was in the straw house. So I went to the next door neighbor. I heard that they were brothers, so I went to the house. What I found was a house made of sticks. Now, why would anyone build a house of sticks? It didn't make any sense. I knocked on the door once, twice, and again, no answer. So I called, little pig, are you in? I need a phone fast, please. Open the door. The little pig said, no, I will. But as he was screaming, the dust filled the air. The sneeze came back, and I sniffed and huffed, and I sneezed a loud sneeze. The entire house fell over. I looked for a phone. I didn't find it. And a few minutes later, I found the pig under all the sticks. I cried and ran to the next door neighbor. I yelled, little pig, are you in? See, this pig had the brains because his house was made of bricks. I told him, your brothers and my wife need medical attention. Your brothers are pinned inside their houses. He rushed out of his house and ran to his brothers' houses. I yelled for him to call the ambulance. He did call the ambulance for his brothers and my wife. One of the pig's brothers survived, but the one in the house of sticks did not. My wife got her medical attention and felt better, but then one day the police called us. We finally got a phone, and they said they had found the killer of the pig, and it was a wolf. After that time, everyone calls us the big bad wolves, and it was horrible, and it was all a misunderstanding because we were only trying to help. That story was from Serenity. Second story that I'll read today is from Mark. All right, let's get started. There once was a house full of pigs. Now, the mother was tired of having her piglets freeload in her house, so she booted them all out. Now, they needed a place to live, but they couldn't afford to buy a house, so they had to rent. They hired a real estate agent to help them find houses that fit in their budgets. Now, the first piggy had spent all of his money on candy and soda and only had a bottle cap and a couple of pennies. Their real estate agent looked and looked and looked really hard for a house that rented that low and finally managed to find a house, but it was made of straw. The second piggy was a little smarter, but he only had $5.18. Scratch that, $5.13. This real estate agent found him a nice stick fort built by angry kindergartners. The third pig, however, was clearly the brains of the family. He had a job in marketing and owned a small online sock business outside of work. This real estate agent found him the biggest brick mansion in all of Fairy Tale Landia. Now, once the piggies moved in, the first and second brothers started to cause trouble. They trashed the house, broke noise code violations, and even managed to drill a 2-foot hole in both of their houses. Their landlord, the owner of Big Bad Wolf Estates, got very angry. So he huffed and he puffed and he signed an eviction notice. The pigs were mad, and so they decided they would make up an entire story, an elaborate story, to try to sue the owner of Big Bad Wolf Estates. So any propaganda that you might read on any bookshelves is part of a grand conspiracy, as this was simply a story of an eviction notice of 2 lazy pigs who weren't paying their rent. So, students, thank you so much for the stories that I got today. Please feel free, send more. Even if you aren't in these classes of mine, don't hesitate to share any stories that you might read, new stories, new interpretations of the Three Little Pigs. I've incredibly appreciated your creativity and loved reading your stories yesterday. And also, thank you to both Mark and Serenity for giving me your permission to read these stories out loud today. I super appreciate it. Keep watching the channel today. I do plan to launch into my second lesson on perspective today. This time we're going to be covering modern news events from an article published from the New York Times that covers different news coverages that you might read depending on the channel that you're watching. But students, keep up that creativity, keep writing stories. I would love to read sequels. I would love to see trilogies about this Three Little Pig madness, and we'll see if we can continue having assignments like this that continue inspiring creativity to this degree. But anyway, thank you all so much for your time. If you want to continue following these lessons, feel free to subscribe and definitely leave comments below if you have ideas or anything else that you'd like to share. Thank you so much, students, and we'll see you again soon.